Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kao Sheng Mo. Today, we are here to represent the Hmong community in Massachusetts. And here I have my cousins, Natalie, Chili, and Nuki, and we're called the Go Hmong Massachusetts. I just want to say that we are excited to be here today to show our culture to you guys. So I'm going to translate this in my language. Nhớ rằng tôi số linh thực tử, nuôi nhỏ bé trong xe hay bé bé tua cộng tàu the Fitchburg community nó thế. Nuôi nhỏ bé giờ ở hoa la vùng, the tụi nó bé hơn có sinh mùa, so the nó cứ dọc with their cousins. Tụi nó là Natalie, tụi nó là Chili thế, Nuki, nuôi nhỏ bé tua lấy tua hoa la vùng, Go Hmong Massachusetts tao mi sai.
Thank you.
Today I am going to read to you a portion of a letter written by a Finnish couple in Lauttasaari, Finland. That's an island about 2 miles west of the center of Helsinki. And this was a letter written by a couple named Olavi and Anja. And they wrote to their daughter's godmother, Hilma. The daughter's name was Hannela, and it's a very lengthy letter, but I'm going to read just a portion of it and give you a taste of it. But before I read in Finnish, I'm going to give you a translation of what I'm going to read so you know ahead of time what to expect. And I want to thank Roy Helander for translating this letter. He actually was able to decipher the writing and was able to translate it. So I'm going to read now the translation. This is, again, the daughter's name is Hannela. So the couple, Olavi and Anja, write the following. Hannela's days are spent mostly on schoolwork. She goes to school 5 days for 6 hours and 1 day for 5 hours. Then she has to do homework, and there's not much time for anything else. Hannela got a record player last spring for a birthday present, and she's very much interested in popular music. Elvis Presley and Paul Anka are her favorite artists. I had to get interested in news about that music so that I know what people are talking about and can take part in the discussions. Hannela also got a tennis racket for my sister, and the hope is that in the fall she can take part in some club and get some instruction at the same time. Hannela has always been interested in sports, and she always got a 9 in the subject in school. Now I'm going to read to you what was written by this couple, Anja and Olavi, from Lauttasaari, Finland. Hannelen päivät menevätkin melkein vain koulun merkissä. Hänellä on 5 päivää koulua viikossa ja 6 tuntia päivässä ja yhtenä päivänä 5 tuntia. Sen jälkeen täytyy vielä lukea läksyt, joten vapaa-aika jää aika vähän. Hannela sai viime keväänä syntymäpäivää lahjaksi levysoittimen. Hän on kovasti innostunut iskelmämusiikista. Elvis Presley ja Paul Anka ovat myös hänen suosikkiaan. Minun on täytynyt ruveta seuraamaan iskelmäuutisia, että olisin vähän perillä ja voisin ottaa osaa keskusteluihin. Hannela on myöskin saanut tennismailan sisällönteni, ja tarkoitus olisi, että alkaisi nyt syksyllä pelata jossain seurassa ja saisi siinä samassa opetusta siitä. Hänellä on aina ollut kiinnostunut urheilusta. Hänellä on ollutkin siinä aina 9 koulussa. Kiitos. Right. Now I'm going to read to you some jokes written by Fitchburg natives, Fitchburg residents who graduated from Fitchburg High School. They actually, what they wrote was actually in German, and it appeared in the Red and Gray magazine. The Red and Gray magazine was a magazine that was produced by the students of Fitchburg High School for years and years. And I'm going to get the jokes here. Stay with me. Okay, I'm going to read some short jokes. I'm going to read to you the translation again, there were no translations in the magazine, the Red and Gray. These are my translations of the jokes. And the first ones are by a young lady by the name of Ida Rome. Ida Rome lived on Bowtell Street in Fitchburg. In fact, all the Rome families. This is back in 1912, 1913, the early 1910s. And the Rome family were noted for having businesses in clothing, had a clothing company, but they also later on became insurance agents. But this is Ida Rome, who took German at Fitchburg High School, and she had to hear Yiddish at home, so it certainly helped her with the German in school. So this is I'm going to read to you one here. This is the teacher asking, in what way did the old Greeks have it better than us? And the student replies, they didn't need to study Greek. Okay, now here is the same joke in German, composed by Ida Rome. The teacher, the Lehrer, says, in welcher Hinsicht hatten die alten Griechen es besser als wir? And the Schüler, the pupil, said, sie brauchen nicht Griechisch zu studieren. And that's Ida's first quick joke. She wrote another joke. At Fitchburg High School, back when she was going to school, a teacher by the name of Chalmers, James A. Chalmers, taught geology, chemistry, and astronomy. And he later became the principal at Fitchburg High School, James Chalmers. So she used the teacher's name, Chalmers, in her joke. And she referred to him as Professor Chalmers. And here's what Professor Chalmers, I'm going to do the translation in English. Professor Chalmers says, how far is the sun from us? And the student replies, 20,000 miles. And Professor Chalmers says, how do you find that? And the student says, great. Now here's the same joke in German, composed by Ida Rome. Professor Chalmers, he says, wie weit ist die Sonne von uns entfernt? And the student says, 20,000 Meilen. And then Professor Chalmers says, wie finden Sie das? How do you find that? And the student says, großartig. Großartig. Okay. And let me read to you another Ida Rome joke. Again, she was from the class of 1913. And this is actually read it in English translation. Waiter, bring me some cheese, a half slice. And the waiter says, I'm sorry, half slices we don't have. We never arranged it. We never arranged it that one needs too much here. Yeah. So here is the joke in German by Ida Rome. Kellner, bringen Sie mir Käse, eine halbe Portion. And the Kellner, the waiter says, bedauere, halbe Portionen haben wir nicht, aber es ist schon eingerichtet, dass man nicht zu viel bekommt. Okay, so that actually has three jokes by Ida Rome. I want to read I consider a very funny, the funniest is by a classmate, a sophomore. Ida was a junior when she wrote that joke. Here is written by a sophomore in the German class, Helen Due, who grew up actually on Pine Street in Fitchburg back in the early 1910s. And this is entitled, He's Won. He's Won. She gave a title to the joke. And I'm going to read to you in English what the joke is. One day, a pastor was going along the street. Soon he came to a group of boys who were gathered around a dog. He went up to them and said, hey, what are you doing? And they answered, we're exchanging lies. Whoever the biggest liar is going to get the dog. That's very, very bad, said the pastor. When I was a boy, it never came to my mind to do such a thing. Give him the dog, cried the boys. He's won. Okay, I'm going to read the joke now in German that Helen Due wrote for the Red and Gray. Eines Tages ging ein Pastor die Straße entlang. Bald kam er zu einer Menge Knaben, die einen Hund versammelt waren. Er ging zu ihnen und fragte, was tut ihr? Sie antworteten, wir vertauschen Lügen. Wer der größte Lügner ist, bekommt den Hund. Das ist aber sehr böse, sagte der Pastor. Als ich ein Knabe war, fiel es mir gar nicht ein, so etwas zu tun. Gebt ihm den Hund, riefen die Knaben aus. Er hat gewonnen. And so those are jokes written by German Fitchburg High School graduates who composed it for the Red and Gray magazine. A great magazine. I've saved a number of my copies when I was at Fitchburg High.
My name is Mark Rouleau. I'm here representing the French-speaking people from Canada. There were two distinct groups that came from Canada. There were the Acadians, who were from the maritime provinces of Canada, and then there were the people from Quebec who came. The first French-speaking people from Canada, they started trickling into Fitchburg in the 1860s and 1870s. They were settling on Water Street in South Fitchburg because there were jobs and because there was a Catholic church. St. Bernard's Church was there. Within a few years, they were able to get their own French-speaking church at Immaculate Conception, almost a quarter-mile away from the other Catholic church. Then, starting in the late 1880s, a bigger wave of French-speaking Canadians came to Fitchburg. They were getting jobs at the mills that they were setting up along the Nashua on the other side of Rollstone Hill in the neighborhood that became known as Cleghorn. What I have to read for you today, this is a notebook kept by one of my great-great-great-grandmothers. She came to Fitchburg with her husband and children in the late 1880s. She was born in 1837. Kept a very nice, neat book with beautiful handwriting. Here's an entry from 1903. Pour donner une idée à mes enfants de leurs frères et sœurs qui sont vivants, donnez à Lézère Alphonse Lafleur. This is going to describe her children here. It says, Hermina Lafleur est venue au monde à Saint-Antoine de Tilly et a fait sa première communion à l'église de Saint-Colombe de Sillery. Son parent, c'est Pierre Lafleur, et sa marraine, Angèle Lafleur. Elle a été baptisée à Saint-Antoine par le révérend curé Bélan et a été confirmée à Saint-Colombe de Sillery par Monseigneur Bergeron, évêque de Saint-Nicolas. Eusèbe Lafleur est venu au monde à Saint-Antoine de Tilly et a été baptisé par le révérend curé Bélan. Son parent, Louis Hamel, et sa marraine, Laïse Lafleur, la femme de Modeste Hamel, et a fait sa première communion à l'église de Sainte-Agathe, comté de Lotte-Penière, et a été confirmée par Monseigneur Bergeron, évêque de Saint-Nicolas, en la paroisse de Saint-Colombe de Sillery. Eusèbe Lafleur, votre père, est mort le 13 février à l'âge de 82 ans. Eusèbe Lafleur, votre père, né en la paroisse Saint-Antoine de Tilly, baptisé en la même paroisse. Georgiana Lafleur, enfant de Eusèbe Lafleur, sa mère, Louise Paquin, elle est morte à l'hôpital entre les mains du révérend père de la paroisse Saint-Joseph et aux soins des docteurs. Moi, Rose Delima Hamel, enfant de Olivier Hamel, et ma mère Rosalie Dubois, mon parent Modeste Dubois et ma marraine Rosalie Martineau. Here's another entry from 1916. It was the day of her birthday. Aujourd'hui, le 6 janvier 1916, c'est le jour de ma naissance, l'âge de 81 ans, et je m'attends pas à voir l'année 1917, car mes jours sont sur le bord de ma tombe. Il me faudra pas grand-chose pour m'enfoncer dans ma dernière demeure et donner mon âme à Dieu pour l'éternité. Je verrai mon père et ma mère, mon mari et mes enfants, et aussi tous parents des deux côtés. Je les invitais toutes à venir au-devant de moi pour aider à Saint-Pierre à m'ouvrir la grande porte du ciel et pour y entrer, pour jamais revenir. Et quand je serai rendu dans ce beau ciel, j'invite tous mes chers enfants revenir me voir là, après chacun le mort, pour y vivre éternellement en présence de Dieu et toutes les saintes. Votre mère, Rose de Lima Amel, épouse de Eusèbe Lafleur, votre père. Merci. Bonne journée. Have a good day, everybody.
Hören Sie mich? Good. My name is Mason Klink, and I will read a little bit of German from a pamphlet we found in the Historical Society on the golden anniversary, or the 50th anniversary, of the Sängerbund, the Singing Society, in 1940. Amazingly, the German language persisted in Fitchburg until after the Second World War. The original flyer from 1940 was mostly in German, including ads and greetings from other singing societies. But there was one ad in English from a shop in Fitchburg that said, "You come visit us if you want genuine German sausages." You will hear in what I read names of nearby cities and towns in Massachusetts. You may also recognize some German words because they are similar to English words. Both German and English are West Germanic languages. So Neu-England is New England, Heim is home, Sänger is singer, Harmonie is harmony, and so forth. So this is fairly dry and bureaucratic reporting of meetings and committees and so forth, but somehow when you say it in German, it sounds much more important. So, jetzt geht's was los. Geschichte des Neuengland-Staaten-Sängerbundes. Die Gründung des Neuengland-Staaten-Sängerbundes ist hauptsächlich dem Gesangverein Harmonie zu Fitchburg und dem Männerchor von Manchester, New Hampshire, vielmehr einiger ihrer Mitglieder zu verdanken. Der Gesangverein Harmonie wurde 1886 in Fitchburg gegründet und baute sich 1890 ein Heim an der Leitenstraße, Sängerhalle genannt. Der erste Hausmann war Gustav Bülcher, früher in Manchester. Mehrere Manchester-Sänger vom Männerchor statteten kurz nach dem Bau den Fitchburgern oder altem Freund Hossmann einen Besuch ab, wobei die Idee zum Zusammenschluss in einem Bund zur Sprache kam. In der darauffolgenden Vereinversammlung der Harmonie kam dann die Bundgründungsidee zur Debatte und wurde beschlossen, den Schriftwart Frank Schuster, jetzt in Methuen ansässig, zu ersuchen, diese Idee allen Gesangvereinen der Umgegend brieflich zu erklären. Darauf wurde im Herbst 1890 eine Sitzung von Vereinsvertretern, Delegaten nach Manchester berufen, wo der Bund gegründet wurde. Leider sind die Bücher aus jener Zeit abhanden gekommen. Hermann Rossner war der Delegat von Fitchburg. And that's the German news from Fitchburg, 1940.
Hello, my name is Nikki Connery. I'm from Clinton, Massachusetts, and I was brought up in Clinton, Massachusetts, and I was brought up in a Greek family, so naturally we all had to speak Greek to our grandparent. So I learned a lot of the church poems and songs when I was young, and I never knew what they meant, but I memorized them. So today I'm going to just read what I learned, the first thing I learned when I was a little girl. It's the Creed, the Confession of Faith. So, Pistevo is ena, theon patera pandokratora, pitin uranu keis oratonde pandon keraton, keisena Kyrion Jesu Christon, τον αιών του Θεού τον Μοριενή, τον εκ του Πατρός γεννηθέντα προπάντων των αιώνων. Φως εκπτός Θεών αληθινών, εκ Θεού αληθινού, γεννηθέντα, ου ποιηθέντα, ομούσιον το Πατρί δύο το πάντα γενωτό. Τον διημάς τους ανθρώπους και δα την ημιτέραν σωτηρίαν, κατελθόνται εκ των ουρανών, και σαρκωθέντα εκ πνεύματος Αγίου και Μαρίας της Πατένου και ανθρωμπίσεντα. Σταυρωθέντεται υπέρ ημών επί Ποντίου Πιλάτου και παθόνται και ταφέντα, και αναστάντα τη τρίτη ημέρα κατά τας ροπάς, και εναλθόνται εις τους ουρανούς, και καθεζόμενον εκ δεξιών του Πατρός, que palin hominum metadoxis, crines ondes que ne cruz, utis basileas uques tetelos, que sto pneuma, to aion, to kyrion, to zopion, to nectu patros, ec porebomenon, to sympatric, ios symbroskinumenon, que symboxazomenon, to lalisen diaton propiton. Ismien aien catholikin, que apostolikin ecclesian, homologon baptisma isacrisine martion, prosaton nasis in necron, que zoin domelonus eonos amen. I also wanted to say the Greek alphabet, because that's another thing we learned when we were very, very young. It's alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, eta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda, min, yik, psi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, epsilon, phi, psi, omega. The reason I came here is I go to the Holy Trinity Greek Church in Fitchburg right now. So if you're ever interested in visiting, we'd be more than happy to welcome you. Thank you.
My name is Emily Randall. I'm a Historical Society fan.
I think you have to get a little closer, I'm sorry.
Back in the beginning of time, the Nordic people celebrated midsummer in a very big way. Imagine all those long, dark winter nights and how happy they were when the sun never set in the wintertime. They celebrated with bonfires and feasting outdoors and dancing and maypoles and had a great time. They still do. When the missionaries came from the south, bringing Christianity, they realized they were no match for bonfires and dancing and maypoles and feasting, and they figured, well, we will just graft the celebration of St. John the Baptist onto this pagan festival, and we'll leave it at that and tiptoe out. And they did. Still in Finland, I believe the holiday is called Johannes, after John. Now, Christianity took over, but the maypoles and the bonfires and the feasting and the dancing go on. Devout families might begin the day with a reading from the Gospel of John, the very beginning, which deals with light and St. John the Baptist. You might recognize the pattern of the words. In begynnelsen var ordet, och ordet var hos Gud, och ordet var Gud. Detta var i begynnelsen hos Gud. Genom det har allt blivit till, och utan det har inte blivit till, som är till. I det var liv, och livet var människornas ljus. Och ljuset lyser i mörkret, och mörkret har icke fått makt därmed. En man uppträdde sänd av Gud, hans namn var Johannes. Han kom så som en vittne för att vittna om ljuset, på det att alla skulle komma till tro genom honom. Icke var han ljuset, men han skulle vittna om ljuset. Det sanna ljuset, det som lyser över alla människor, skulle nu komma i världen. I världen var han, och genom honom hade världen blivit till, men världen ville icke veta av honom. Glad midsommar alla!
Yay!
My name is Kay Alverson Hillman. I am not a native Hispanohablante, nor am I an original native from Fitchburg, Mass. I'm originally from Western New York. It was my nun in my high school that encouraged me to study Spanish, and the rest is history. I went on there to teach Spanish. I spent a year in Spain, and therefore I'm going to be speaking with an accent called Castellano. I'm going to be lisping on Z's, which they call the thitheo, and occasionally some Hispanic friends like to mock me a little bit because I speak with thitheo. So I'm going to now read to you two excerpts that were from the Fitchburg High with the Fitchburg High yearbook, and the year goes back to 1929. There is going to be reference of the first excerpt that I'm going to read to you, which is about the origin of the Spanish language. There's going to be reference to the Greek gods, and it was George who just informed us previously that they were studying ancient Greek in Fitchburg High, possibly at the same time period. So there will be reference to the Greek gods. So, entonces voy a empezar. Otra vez me llamo Kai Alberson Hillman. El origen de la lengua española. Hay una leyenda muy vieja y interesante dándonos el origen de la lengua española. Hace muchos años los dioses se reunieron en el Olimpo para hablar de sus creaciones. Uno había creado el agua y los peces, otro la hierba y otro el fuego. Un dios pequeño dijo: yo he creado un jardín a las extremidades de Europa. Se llama el Jardín de las Hespérides. Fueron tan interesados en esta creación de ese dios pequeño que cada uno deseó contribuir algo a complemento de aquel jardín. Mercurio dijo: yo le daré todas clases de minerales preciosos. Martes le concedió la valencia y el honor a este jardín hermoso. Minerva dijo que sus mujeres serían bravas. Venus añadió que serían hermosas. Cupido añadió que ese jardín sería repleto de romance. Entonces Júpiter dijo: hablarán la lengua de los dioses en este jardín tan hermoso. Eso es la razón que el español tiene tanto romance y tanta música en sus palabras. Fueron que los dioses mismos que les dieron a los habitantes de España su deliciosa idioma. So, muchas gracias a Catherine Thompson from the class of 1929, writing her Spanish in the yearbook, or her translation to Spanish. The next one is called Los Encantos de la España Vieja. And this deals with basically the sights of Spain at this time period, which I'm assuming not people in 1929 were able to view. So they probably saw it in the textbooks. And this is written by Margaret Griffin, again from the class of 1929. Una de las muchas cosas que atrae al viajero a la España es la hospitalidad de los españoles. Muchas historias han estado escritas de la benevolencia de este pueblo. El español invita cordialmente al viajero a su casa, donde toda la familia le divierte. Entonces, hay los museos interesantes, las catedrales viejas y las fortalezas históricas, con una historia interesantísima atada a cada una. Por ejemplo, el Museo del Prado, conteniendo las pinturas de Murillo, Velázquez, Rubens y de muchos otros pintores. La Catedral de Sevilla, con sus altas columnas góticas. Y la Alhambra, una fortaleza morisca. Hay otra cosa tan interesante que tendré que decir unas palabras de ella. Es el balcón, o la reja. La reja está cubierta de flores dando perfumes deliciosas. Aquí, la señorita española y su amante se encuentran, ella con la rosa en su cabeza y él con la guitarra. Muy romántico, ¿no? Sí. Okay, muchas gracias for your attention, and we would be so happy to get some more Hispanic history if you would come to visit the Fitchburg Historical Society. Thank you.